I pray this series on forgiveness has been helpful to you, that you've been able to identify some of the things that are keeping you from moving forward into your journey of joy and peace with the Lord. But also at the same time, you've begun to have an understanding and revelation that forgiveness is a lifestyle. Jesus tells this parable of an unforgiving servant. You know, there was a servant who owed the king millions of dollars, and in a swift moment, the king just canceled the debt rather than throwing him into prison and having him rot there until he can pay it back. But then the story continues where that servant then found another servant who owed him just a couple of bucks, and he was unforgiving, and so he threw that servant into prison, and he was rotting in prison until he could pay back. And when the king found out, he was furious because he had canceled the debt. He had shown grace, he had shown forgiveness to that one servant, and yet that servant would not do the same thing back. And so Jesus says the same thing would happen to your heart unless you learn how to forgive from your heart. And really, that is the power of forgiveness. It's really about the canceling of debt. I often say that when we're hurt, we create an IOU towards the one that who's offended us. We would like say, I need an apology. I need you to say that you were wrong. I need you to vindicate me. All sorts of different things that we may have on our IOU list. But when we cancel a debt, it's like ripping up that IOU and saying, you owe me nothing. In fact, I bless you. Jesus says, bless those who curse you. And so, in other words, you begin to say, I bless you, I release you into the love of God, and I release the best for you. In other words, you've let them go so that the bitterness and that hatred and that resentment is no longer lingering, but you're letting it out as you tear up that IOU. You see, that's the power of forgiveness. When you cancel that debt, when you say, I no longer hold you in judgment, I no longer hold you in curse, but rather, I let it all go. I hand you to Jesus because he is the judge of the living and the dead. In fact, when I'm judging, I'm taking his place. So that's not what I'm supposed to do. My role is to forgive and let Jesus look after your heart because he's looking after mine. And so, how do we forgive? Well, first, we need to say, I'm sorry for having my judgment. I'm sorry for having bitterness and resentment. I'm sorry for losing my objectivity and being negative and critical towards you. And then you say, and so I cancel the hurt. I cancel the pain. I cancel the offense that you've had towards me, and I choose to let you go. No apologies, no justice, no vindication. I don't need you to be punished. I don't need recompense. I don't need to do restitution. I just simply bless you. And the moment you do that, that's the moment you forgive. And the moment you forgive is the moment that you begin to walk and align your heart with heaven, so heaven can invade your heart and it can transform you, and so that you can journey into the destiny that God has for you. This is Steve Chua, hoping that you would live a lifestyle of forgiveness so that you can live in the freedom that Jesus won for you on the cross.